as they are employed, the benefit will transfer from them to the nation, the host nation. And no way could they take something out of this nation and push it across the national barrier to their original nation, or original country, I should say. So this is a very well organized thing which is not written. It's traditional, and it runs in every country. I keep receiving reports from Ahmadis who are exceptionally intelligent and who have received gold medals in this and that study, that when they seek employment in America, for instance, they can reach up to a certain level, and after that it's just barred. They don't want his services. But when the services are required, they are required for specific tasks in specific conditions. So that is why I have been warning Africa during my tours, particularly in Ghana. I had long discussions with the policymakers, that you are wasting your money, your resources without any purpose on higher education, because you have a stomach, and that stomach can digest only a certain type of food. Whatever extra potent food you prepare, that cannot be digested by your stomach. It has no place and no corresponding glandular setup to digest it. So what happens is, you spend a lot of money on raising the standard of education in your country beyond the stage where you could consume whatever you produce yourself. So there is a constant drift. All such students go abroad, never to return. If they return, they find no employment for them, no occupation, no use. So you have to change your policy to a degree where it suits your country and raise the base, the entire base of education, to a degree that there is more and more demand of intellect within the country, and they can be given employment not only for the benefit of the country but for their own benefit as well. So there is an equation which has to be brought into view before we chalk out a policy. This is not a part of the question you asked, but this is a part of the answer which must be given along with the question raised. So first of all, I told you that the third world will never willingly part with technology which they have gained through their own labor, and for centuries they have been working on scientific pursuits, and whatever is the outcome is their wealth. Why should they part with it without any compulsion? We must learn the ways and means to learn the same things either directly or through some other clever devices. Japan, for instance, broke the barriers by employing a very clever and intelligent policy right from the beginning. You see, instead of raising their standard of living on foreign goods, they started working hard to imitate things which were made in the foreign countries. And it was just an imitation. In every development of Japanese industry or technology, you will find the journey beginning with imitations. Then in the process, they began to learn a few tricks here and there. Then they gained confidence. They imitated not just the form but also penetrated deeper And as such, whenever they sent students to America or England or other European countries, they were sent with a purpose to learn something and return. Only such Japanese students still are working abroad, like in America, etc., who are involved in such areas where Japan has no usage, theoretical physics, etc., all these things, and the Japanese are working there, but wherever they are working, they keep on passing their information back to the country. And that information is somehow utilized, and first of all it is distributed to the right places. And I have studied some cases, actual cases, of how Japanese scientists are working hand in hand with their counterparts in America, and it is surprising how they continue to benefit from whatever they gain in any other country, particularly in America, because it is a consciously designed plan. While scientists from Pakistan, scientists from India, from Bangladesh, from Ghana, from Nigeria lose their identity when they go over to other countries, and there is no system to attract them back to their own country. Now, the problem is manifold. It is not just a single simple problem. It is many-sided. I have already raised the question of false standards of living imported from abroad, east or west, whatever it is. But third world countries have this impatience to live more luxuriously in shortest possible time. Now, this has been inbred into them by the traditions. Previously, the traditions began with as a result of strict, well chalked out colonial policies. It was decided and immaculately acted upon, implemented, that we must raise the standard of living of the colonies, or our industries and trade will find no customers anywhere. So the foreign rule was not just for the pleasure of ruling. It never was. It was only to raise the national economic standard at the cost of certain other countries. So the rule was only to organize their economy, their way of life to a degree, in a manner that they will remain dependent on the produce of the country which is ruling them. So tariff rules, regulations were all carved out to serve this purpose. And this is what I have been trying to remind all African countries where I visited. For God's sake, don't forget that your standard of life is a false standard of life, and it is Pakistan being no exception. So it's not just a criticism directed at one group of countries. I'm talking in general of the third world countries. I said, you have carved, for instance, Ghana, when I met